Hello and welcome. It's really exciting in this third episode to be so close to where I grew up. If you can see, it's straight ahead on the street on the left hand side, which is also part of Tavistock Place, but it's not the posh looking building that's recently been refurbished for the Methodist Church, but above the shop on the left next to it. So the name of Tavistock Place comes from the Marquis of Tavistock. So that was a title given to the eldest sons of the Dukes of Bedford. So that's whose estates this area were a part of. So we've just passed Gordon Square, where Virginia Woolf had moved in 1904. That was, for her, she was moving from Knightsbridge, where after her father passed away, and it feels like creating a new space in Gordon Square. So there's a lovely quote about the Bloomsbury group, which was lived in squares and loved in triangles. For this episode though, let's continue to walk down Tavistock Place. Lenin stayed here for a bit, and let's have a look and see what shops are the same. Also, I'd love to say a bit about the local fish and chip shop, which MI5 bugged. First we can see all the bed and breakfasts on the street. These have been here for at least as long as Lenin stayed here for a bit. The plaque says lived here in 1908, but it's more like he stayed here for less than a month. This was Lenin's fourth out of his 5 visits to London, and he was here to work on his book Materialism and, let me get this right, Empirio-criticism. So he spent very much focused on going to the British Museum, but I think he spent the rest of his time in the Anarchist Club in Clerkenwell. So that's where my other video series, which I did about where my mum grew up, very nearby in Clerkenwell. So I think he was there drinking Russian tea and food, and I hope possibly he went into the Crown Pub in Clerkenwell next to my mum's house, where I think him and Stalin or Trotsky would meet as well. So that's a marvellous image. Karl Marx, I think, had died a long time before that, in 1883. So the rest of the time, as I said, he spent in the British Library, which he said was a wonderful institution, the best library in the world. On the corner of the street, I remember there was a fishmonger's, the bookshop, which is marvellously still there. I remember going, my dad used to love going through bookshops, and I remember he used to go in there. Wonderful, just piled high. And then round the corner in Lee Street, that's where the MI5 bugged the fish and chip restaurant in the 80s, and they were eavesdropping on the miners' leader, Arthur Scargill. So he used to eat there regularly because he was discussing with his comrades from the National Union of Miners. And obviously they've got the wonderful TUC building not far away either. So in 1996, in the House of Commons, they discussed how there was mass surveillance and phone tapping and bugging of trade union industries. So at the County Hotel in Bloomsbury, where the miners' leaders stayed, that was bugged, and this fish shop, the North Sea restaurant in Lee Street, which is near where the National Union Miners headquarters was, that was also bugged. And on the floor here, outside the bed and breakfast, this is the entrance to one of the B&Bs, and I use that for my YouTube channel banner, so thank you very much. It reminds me of a lovely area. this is where I grew up, in the first floor flat above what was greengrocers. The smell of cabbage always reminds me of Tavistock Place. We had a Chinese restaurant which felt very exotic in the 1970s. On the other side of the street, in Marchmont Street, there was a men's barbers. When I was about 8 years old, I learnt that that's where men got their condoms from. Something, of course, I didn't understand at all, really. And I think the barbers would say, "Something for the weekend, sir?" And then opposite that, where the fishmongers was, and the second-hand bookshop still is, there was an off-licence. I remember thinking, as a kid, oh, that's the shop where all the old wino men go. You know, the old winos, the old homeless men who used to be called winos at that time, which obviously, you know, very unfair now when you think about it. But above us, our neighbours were a lovely couple who were similar age to my parents. They were into folk music, going to music festivals, making homemade beer, and were very kind to me. Amazingly, or probably shocking now, really, but we shared the toilet and bath with our upstairs neighbours. There was only one bathroom, and it was a shared one in the upstairs households. So the bathroom was on a mezzanine floor between our flats. As a child, my memories of this area are my home, and then the children's park, Coram Fields, which is just up the road on the right, and just before that, the Brunswick Centre. Apart from this smell of cabbage, another distinctive memory was that every evening an old man used to stand outside the newsagents on the opposite corner and called out the name of the London newspaper, the Evening Standard. But it never sounded like that. It always sounded like Evening Standard, Evening Standard. And in my memories, it was always very dark outside as well. But there was something, you know, very British Army about it. And it could have been, you know, like a lot of the old winos as well. I think probably just ex-soldiers. And in this case, you know, the man's, you know, trying to eke out a living selling the paper. So that was another very vivid memory of Tavistock Place.
used to be my hairdressers when I had hair.
Oh really? Where's that?
Yeah.
Well, where the
There's my brain clinic now, whatever. I think that's where your mother first met David.
Oh really? He was what there was?
David and his partner that had it.
Oh really?
But some woman, some girl used to cut my hair. Strange to think of the days when I had hair.
God. So the one at Flask Walk he used to own this one as well.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Then,
it looks very similar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I remember going in there with you as well.
Yeah, I used to get in all the time. Then our teacher took it over. He always had a dream of running a bookshop.
And that's still got it,
he was kind of stuck in there. And
I mean, who goes in there? That's the problem, isn't it?
Just walking through, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be very difficult, I think, really.
It's probably easier now with the internet because.
I guess so. I mean, yeah, that's
shop,
if you're clever, I suppose.
Yeah.
But a lot of people aren't necessarily that clever, are they? So, isn't it funny? Just remember all these, and there was all these like funny hotels around here as well, weren't there?
Yeah.
I think a lot of my Japanese students told me when they've come to London, they've always stayed at Russell Square. So it's always it's always like, oh, that's where I come from, and
that's all student residence, isn't it?
that's a. Oh really? Is that true? Lots of the old shops still there. I guess that fish and chip shop's gone dead. The fish and chip shop.
Yeah.
So this is it. This is near Tavistock Place. Unwins, that was still there when I was there. Books, I remember. That's where I am, Tavistock Place. Is that my street? There's a fish market there.
Exile, isn't it? It's a now place now.
Well, what was it before? It was like, I think, estate agents or some sort of agency?
Well, it was greengrocers when we were there. Then it was a design. One time when I came around, it was a design place, and where we lived was part of it. Looks like it's residential again.
Yeah.
Top.
And who was it? Because one of my mates, like, I don't actually remember him, but he used to live down there where the blue thing was.
Yeah, and he had twin little brothers.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, I can't remember his name as well.
This used to be a Chinese. Which one was the Chinese? Was it this one or? Yes.
No, that was the Indian. That was an older couple who had a They were like 50s kind of jazz freaks. I saw them on the Heath once a few months ago.
Oh really?
They used to own it. It was just like an ordinary.
But where was the Chinese restaurant? Because we went in. I thought it was this one or where it is. And they used to have. Because I always remember having those bananas, like bananas and batter.
Yeah, that
Isn't
was
that funny?
Computer Place. Electrical.
Hmm.
That used to be a bakeries.
With that blue one. Yeah.